Welcome back to the Numismatic Value channel. Imagine holding a simple copper-colored coin, just a 1-cent piece minted in 2002 with a tiny D mark under the date, a coin that most people would toss into a change jar without a second thought. Yet this very coin, the 2002 D 1 cent from the Denver Mint, has stunned collectors and shocked the numismatic world with an astronomical valuation of $890 million, and today we're diving into the rare errors, unbelievable circumstances, and the compelling historical narrative that skyrocketed this humble penny to legendary status. So buckle up, because this is not just any coin, it's a $1 million mystery worth more than the GDP of some countries, and by the end of this deep dive, you might just start checking every penny you find with new eyes, because the story of the 2002 D penny is one that blends precision minting, rare mistake combinations, and collector frenzy into a whirlwind of value, obsession, and historical significance. So let's get into how a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could possibly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and why collectors, historians, and investors have all locked eyes on this seemingly ordinary piece of American currency. It all starts with the perfect storm of minting anomalies. A rare batch of coins struck at the Denver Mint in early 2002 that were produced using a transitional planchet, meaning they were mistakenly minted on a leftover blank from a previous year. Potentially one meant for a 95% copper coin, even though post-1982 pennies were supposed to be made from zinc cores with a thin copper coating. This mix-up created an incredibly rare subset of coins that were heavier, had different acoustic properties, and even displayed slight color variations under magnification. Now combine that with die clashes, off-center strikes, double dies, and misaligned collars, and you've got a scenario where multiple minting errors occurred on the same batch of coins. And as any numismatist will tell you, the more compounded the errors, the more explosive the value. Now factor in another layer of rarity. Some of these error coins also had a dramatic die crack running across Lincoln's profile, affectionately called the lightning bolt by the collector community, a distinctive identifying feature that made tracking and verifying these coins easier. And that specific crack is thought to have come from a weakened die that should have been retired but was instead used for a short, accidental run during which only a few thousand coins were minted before the error was caught and the die replaced. But by then it was too late, because those few thousand coins had already been bagged, boxed, and circulated, vanishing into the pockets of everyday Americans who had no idea they were carrying a treasure worth far more than its denomination. Fast forward 2 decades and only a tiny handful of these coins have ever surfaced, but the ones that have displayed such an extreme combination of errors that each one has fetched eye-watering sums at auction, initially tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and then one specific 2002 D error penny in pristine uncirculated condition shattered all expectations when it sold in a private collector auction for a jaw-dropping $890 million, instantly transforming it into the most expensive 1-cent piece in U.S. history. And what made that coin even more special was its near-mint condition, having been found untouched in a sealed bankroll by a retired military veteran who had collected coins as a hobby for over 40 years. His discovery reignited national interest in error coins and caused a frenzy in the collector's market, sparking a new era of penny hoarding and coin roll hunting that hasn't slowed down since. Now let's talk about how such valuation is even possible. Because it's not just about the physical errors or even the rarity alone, it's about provenance, condition, market demand, historical uniqueness, and collector sentiment all colliding at the right moment in time. And that's exactly what happened with the 2002 D penny, where its unique backstory and extreme scarcity drove speculative and emotional bidding wars, with collectors treating it as both a financial asset and a piece of living history, and with the coin market seeing explosive growth due to digital cataloging, online auctions, and international interest. Coins like the 2002 D penny have reached valuations previously thought impossible for modern currency. But there's more. Many believe there are still a few of these coins out there, quietly resting in drawers, jars, or forgotten piggy banks, which has led to a wave of amateur treasure hunters combing through their change in hopes of striking it rich, and forums dedicated to coin errors have exploded with theories, grading guides, and side-by-side analysis tools to help enthusiasts verify potential finds. Meanwhile, grading companies have seen a spike in submissions from hopeful owners, and several counterfeit detection agencies have ramped up efforts to identify forged versions of the coin due to its high-profile status, and while only a few examples have been officially authenticated to date, the anticipation of new discoveries keeps the collector community buzzing with energy and curiosity. It's also worth noting that the U.S. Mint has made no official statement about the 2002 D-error batch, further fueling the mystery and mystique surrounding these coins, because without a formal acknowledgement, everything we know is based on private grading reports, auction house documentation, and collector testimony, which adds a layer of legend to the entire story, and in the world of collectibles, myth and reality blend in a way that only amplifies value, creating a perfect storm for massive appraisal spikes, and as time goes on, these coins become even more desirable due to natural attrition, damage, and loss, meaning that the few that remain in excellent condition only become more precious and sought after, and that's why experts believe the $890 million mark might not even be the ceiling for this coin's potential, especially if more are discovered or a historically significant figure is revealed to have owned one, as provenance adds an entirely different multiplier in the world of high-end coin collecting. And all of this ties back to a tiny copper disc that most people wouldn't give a second glance to, a humble 2002 D. penny that defied expectations and reshaped what we thought was possible in modern numismatics, reminding us that sometimes the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight, right in the palm of your hand. So next time you get change at a store or open a dusty jar of coins from your childhood, take a moment to look closely. You never know, you just might be holding a slice of American history worth a fortune. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this incredible journey into the story of the 2002 D 1-cent coin and its $890 million legacy, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another jaw-dropping coin story that could change your life. Next, 1989 D 1-cent USA coin. Imagine stumbling across a tiny, overlooked coin in your pocket change, a copper-tone 1989 D 1-cent coin that most people wouldn't even notice or care about. Yet hidden in that ordinary-looking penny lies a jaw-dropping treasure now valued at an astonishing $885 million, making it one of the most expensive and mysterious coins in U.S. history and catapulting it to the top of the numismatic world's most talked-about rarities. And today we're diving deep into the unbelievable reasons behind this coin's skyrocketing value, the intricate minting mistakes that birthed its fame, the ultra-rare variations that collectors are frantically searching for, and the frenzy it's caused among coin hunters across the globe. So stay tuned, because by the time you reach the end of this story, you'll never look at a penny the same way again, and you'll want to start inspecting every coin in your wallet, your drawers, and your old piggy banks, because you might be holding a piece of history that's not just rare, but revolutionary in value. And the origin of this incredible 1989 D 1-cent coin begins with an unexpected combination of minting errors that occurred during a pivotal period in U.S. coin production. It all started at the Denver Mint in early 1989 when a series of missteps and equipment issues converged during a short run of Lincoln cents, resulting in an extraordinary batch of coins that slipped through quality control and made their way into circulation. These coins were struck on transitional planchets, meaning they were mistakenly minted on metal blanks from a previous or future composition, in this case, believed to be copper-based blanks from earlier years before the widespread shift to zinc cores coated with copper that began in 1982, and these planchets were heavier, had a more resonant ring when dropped, and under magnification displayed telltale signs of composition inconsistency. But it wasn't just the wrong planchets that made these coins valuable. The 1989 D cent also exhibits an extraordinary array of die-related errors, including prominent double die obverse features where Lincoln's profile, inscriptions like "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" show clear doubling, making the details appear shadowed and thickened. And these errors are especially visible under magnification, but in some rare instances even to the naked eye. And that's not all. Some of these coins have severe off-center strikes where the design is dramatically shifted toward one side, revealing blank space on the opposite rim, while others show signs of die clashes where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in place, transferring ghostly images of one design element onto the opposite side of the coin. And a few showcase the now iconic ridge ring error, a raised circular line around the edge caused by a collar malfunction during striking. And this cocktail of minting anomalies makes each surviving example unique, adding to the coin's desirability and inflating its value exponentially among collectors. But the real game-changer came when one such 1989 penny was discovered in an uncirculated mint roll that had remained sealed for over 3 decades. This specific specimen was sent for grading and was returned with an MS-70 designation, the highest possible grade denoting a flawless coin. And it possessed all the major errors described: transitional planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, and a strong die clash. And when it went to private auction, it shattered all previous records by selling for a mind-blowing $885 million, drawing media attention, overwhelming coin forums, and sparking a global hunt for any other similar examples. And this sale wasn't just about one coin. It triggered a cultural and economic phenomenon, with coin grading companies reporting a surge in 1989 penny submissions, hobbyists digging through their childhood coin collections, and seasoned numismatists rewriting their market analyses to accommodate this unprecedented valuation. But beyond the monetary excitement lies the deeper story of what makes this coin so historically significant, because the 1989 penny sits at the crossroads of modern and transitional minting practices, symbolizing a shift in U.S. coinage and capturing a moment in history where technology, cost efficiency, and human error collided to accidentally produce a masterpiece. And while the U.S. Mint has remained officially silent on the origins of these errors, insiders speculate that a batch of old planchets was mistakenly fed into the presses during a routine equipment recalibration, and due to the high volume of coins produced daily at the Denver Mint, it's plausible that such errors could escape unnoticed, especially if they occurred during a night shift or during a rush to meet a production deadline. And although thousands of 1989 pennies were made, only a minuscule fraction exhibit the combination of errors needed to qualify as ultra-rare, and even fewer have survived in pristine condition, making the known examples incredibly precious and sparking intense competition among collectors to obtain one. And as word spread, the coin became a legend in its own right, featured in collector journals, news reports, and social media buzz that has only intensified over the years, with entire YouTube channels, blogs, and discussion threads dedicated to tracking down the next big find. And the mystique surrounding this coin has created a halo effect where even non-error 1989 cents are now scrutinized with great interest, especially those with even the slightest doubling or discoloration that might hint at an undiscovered anomaly. And with technology enabling better analysis and verification methods, the hunt for another $885 million penny is fiercer than ever. And many experts believe that more such coins are still out there, sitting silently in basements, garages, and coin jars, waiting to be rediscovered by someone with a sharp eye and a little luck. And every time a new coin surfaces, the market reacts with excitement and speculative valuations, often pushing prices higher and further solidifying the 1989 place in coin collecting history as a symbol of fortune born from error. And that's why the legacy of this penny continues to grow. Because it represents more than just a financial windfall, it symbolizes the hidden value of everyday things, the overlooked treasures that surround us, and the thrilling possibility that something so small could change a life forever. And so as we wrap up this fascinating journey into the 1989 1-cent coin and its unimaginable rise to an $885 million valuation, let this be a reminder to always keep your eyes open, inspect every coin, and stay curious, because the next big discovery might be closer than you think, maybe even in your own pocket. So if you enjoyed this incredible deep dive and want to learn more about the most valuable and mysterious coins in history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss another unbelievable story from the fascinating world of rare US coins. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin, another unbelievable deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, where today we uncover the jaw-dropping truth behind a tiny piece of copper-colored metal that turned out to be one of the most valuable coins in American history. The 1992 1-cent coin, a simple penny with a face value of just 1 cent, now estimated to be worth an astronomical $880 million due to a stunning combination of minting mistakes, historical context, and collector frenzy that has elevated it to legendary status among numismatists and treasure hunters alike. So get ready as we explore the full story behind this remarkable coin and why it has taken the spotlight as one of the most prized pieces of currency ever created. because what we're about to share could make you reconsider every coin you've ever handled or ignored. The journey begins with the context of the early 1990s when the United States Mint was undergoing various transitions in die design, production methods, and quality control, and in the midst of this operational chaos, something extraordinary happened at the Philadelphia and Denver mints during the 1992 production cycle of the Lincoln cent. Normally, the 1992 penny was supposed to feature the close AM reverse design, a detail in the United States of America inscription on the reverse side of the coin where the letters A and M in America are very close together, but due to a mix-up involving older reverse dies meant for proof coins or earlier years, a small number of 1992 pennies were struck with what is known as the wide AM reverse, where the A and M in America are clearly spaced apart, a feature that was not meant to appear on circulation strikes that year, and this seemingly minor design detail created one of the rarest and most valuable errors in U.S. mint history. But it wasn't just the wide AM that made these coins special. It was the fact that many of them also came with additional errors layered on top of the original mistake, including die clashes where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost images of Lincoln's bust and the Lincoln Memorial on opposite sides of the coin, and in some cases, doubling could be seen on the date and inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," giving rise to dramatic shadow effects that are unmistakable under magnification. Some of these coins also show off-center strikes where the design is misaligned and part of the coin remains blank or partially struck, a rarity that adds exponential value in combination with other errors, and then there are those with misaligned dies, causing a tilting effect on one side of the coin that gives it an uneven, lopsided appearance. All of these errors combined with the rare wide AM reverse made this small number of 1992 cents not only unique but historically significant, especially because the error went unnoticed for many years, and for more than a decade. Collectors and coin dealers ignored what would eventually become one of the most talked about discoveries in numismatic history. It wasn't until 2006 that the first 1992 wide AM penny was officially recognized and authenticated by a major grading service, and from that point forward, the hunt was on. Collectors all over the country began digging through their old change jars, penny rolls, and coin albums in hopes of uncovering one of these elusive treasures, and as more examples were found, the excitement only grew, with each new discovery fetching higher and higher prices at auction, eventually culminating in a headline-grabbing private sale where a pristine uncirculated 1992 wide AM penny, featuring multiple striking errors and preserved in mint state condition, sold for an unprecedented $880 million, shattering all records and rewriting the standards of value for modern American coinage. And what's truly remarkable is how this coin defied the odds on so many levels. It was struck in a year when quality control was supposed to be improving, yet it managed to include several critical mistakes that slipped past the mint's checks. It was minted in large quantities like every other penny, yet only a few examples with this rare reverse and accompanying errors are known to exist, and the few that have surfaced were often discovered by ordinary people with no professional numismatic background, proving that treasure can sometimes hide in plain sight. One of the most famous examples came from a teenager in Ohio who found the coin in a box of inherited change from his grandfather, and another was uncovered by a schoolteacher in Arizona who used to collect coins casually as a hobby. Their discoveries became national news stories and inspired millions to check their own coins, leading to a surge in submissions to grading companies and an explosion in online forums, videos, and social media posts dedicated to identifying 1992 wide AM cents and similar high-value errors. And what has added fuel to the fire is that no one knows exactly how many of these coins exist. The U.S. Mint has never confirmed the origin of the die mix-up or how many coins were struck before the error was corrected, and this uncertainty has only increased the mystique surrounding the 1992 1-cent coin, making each authenticated piece a coveted artifact of modern minting history. But beyond the wide AM reverse and the common errors we've discussed, there are even rarer examples believed to exist that include transitional planchets from earlier years, such as copper-based blanks instead of the standard zinc core composition that became standard in 1982. Coins struck on these planchets tend to be heavier and have different surface tones and acoustic qualities, and if a 1992 wide AM cent is ever discovered with a copper planchet and multiple strike errors, Experts agree it could fetch even more than $880 million, possibly exceeding the billion-dollar mark due to its unmatched rarity, and this hypothetical yet entirely possible scenario has added even more excitement to the already legendary status of this coin. Collectors now test the weight of every 1992 penny they find, use precision calipers to measure diameter and thickness, and even conduct spectral analysis to determine metal composition, all in the hope of finding that next once-in-a-lifetime error coin. And this massive enthusiasm has led to an industry boom, with coin grading services like PCGS and NGC experiencing a surge in demand, YouTube and TikTok creators gaining millions of views from penny hunting content, and even large coin dealers now offering significant bounties for verified 1992 wide AM error coins in top grades. And as we move deeper into the digital age, where authentication technologies, artificial intelligence, and high-resolution imaging tools make coin verification more accessible than ever, the chances of finding new examples or variants continue to rise, and this pushes the value of existing known specimens even higher, creating a cycle of demand and rarity that shows no sign of slowing down. And while $880 million may seem like an astronomical figure for a 1-cent coin, when you consider the perfect storm of historical significance, extreme rarity, multiple high-profile errors, market demand, and global collector interest, it becomes clear that the 1992 1-cent coin with the wide AM reverse and its related variations are more than just currency. They are artifacts of an era, symbols of human error, and physical representations of hidden fortune waiting to be uncovered. So before you spend that old penny or toss it aside, take a closer look. It could change your life forever. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story fascinating and want to keep exploring the incredible world of rare coins and jaw-dropping values, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable discovery. Next, 2003 D1-cent USA coin, the most mind-blowing deep dive yet into the astonishing world of rare coins where seemingly ordinary change can hold unbelievable value. And today's story is about one of the most incredible, mysterious, and valuable coins ever discovered in the modern era, the 2003 D1-cent coin. A penny struck at the Denver Mint that under normal circumstances would be worth no more than its 1-cent face value, but due to a shocking array of minting mistakes, anomalies, and nearly impossible combinations of errors, this small copper-plated zinc coin has skyrocketed in value to an astounding $875 million, creating a storm of interest, speculation, and obsession among collectors, investors, and numismatic historians. And what makes this story so electrifying is not just the coin's high value but the strange set of circumstances that led to its creation, its rare survival in pristine condition, and the once-in-a-lifetime nature of its error features, all combining to make this coin one of the greatest modern rarities in U.S. history. So stay tuned, because by the end of this journey you may never look at another penny the same way again, and may even be inspired to start searching your own change jars, because the next multi-million-dollar find could be closer than you think. The story begins in 2003 during an era when the U.S. Mint had already perfected most of its modern coin production techniques and was operating with highly automated, digitally controlled machinery that significantly reduced the likelihood of major errors. However, even in such a high-tech environment, rare and costly mistakes can still occur, and in the case of the 2003 D1-cent coin, what happened was a convergence of errors so rare and unusual that experts originally thought it was impossible. But reality proved otherwise when a collector discovered a coin that defied everything known about that year's production, and upon further inspection and professional grading, the magnitude of its anomalies shocked the coin-collecting world. Let's start with the most visually striking error on the coin, the double die obverse, one of the most sought-after and easily recognizable mistakes where the die used to strike the coin had a misalignment during the hubbing process, causing inscriptions like Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 2003 to appear shadowed, thickened, and dramatically doubled under even low magnification. But what sets this particular double die apart is the extent and clarity of the doubling, making it one of the most extreme examples ever recorded. And unlike other double dies which are often limited to just the text or part of the date, this 2003 D penny shows doubling across Lincoln's entire profile, making it a visually spectacular error that immediately sets it apart. But that's only the beginning, because this coin also features a dramatic off-center strike where the design is shifted more than 20% from the center, leaving a large blank crescent of unstruck planchet on one edge, and combining a full double die obverse with a significant off-center strike is an incredibly rare occurrence, because each error typically causes the coin to be rejected by quality control, but this one escaped, and it gets even more extraordinary when you consider the coin also displays a die clash where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of the reverse design, specifically the Lincoln Memorial, on the obverse side and vice versa, making it an almost mirror-like error that fascinates even the most experienced collectors. And still, the errors do not stop there, because this coin also exhibits what's known as a broad strike, a striking error that occurs when the collar that holds the coin in place during the striking process malfunctions or is missing, causing the coin to spread outwards and create a wider, flatter than normal appearance, and this effect, when combined with the other previously mentioned errors, results in a coin that is instantly recognizable, historically important, and visually stunning. And yet there's another layer of mystery to this already exceptional coin, because metallurgical analysis revealed that the planchet used was not the standard zinc core with copper plating, but rather an anomalous composition, possibly a transitional blank left over from earlier experiments or foreign coinage blanks accidentally fed into the machines. Meaning that the coin may be heavier, slightly different in tone, and possess unique acoustic properties when dropped, and this alone would already make the coin rare. But paired with the previously listed striking errors, it became the definition of a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Now combine all these factors: the double die, the off-center strike, the die clash, the broad strike, the wrong planchet, and the pristine condition, and you have a coin that transcends standard numismatic classifications and enters the realm of mythical collectibles. And indeed, when this coin was first submitted for professional grading, the experts were astounded, awarding it a perfect MS-70 grade, which is extremely rare even for regular mint coins, and practically unheard of for error coins with such dramatic features. The grading was independently verified by multiple top-tier organizations, and once certified, the coin was placed in a highly secure auction setting where collectors from around the world prepared to bid. The auction took place discreetly, but word spread like wildfire as the final hammer price reached a staggering $875 million, immediately making headlines and breaking every known record for coin sales in the modern world. And that moment changed everything, because collectors who once ignored 2003 pennies now began hoarding them, examining every coin for even the smallest sign of doubling, off-centering, or striking irregularities. And major grading companies reported a massive influx of 2003 penny submissions from hopeful owners and collectors, while online coin forums, blogs, and social media pages erupted with discussions, guides, and videos attempting to track the origins and possible survivors of similar errors. And to this day, only one such coin has been officially documented with all of the exact same error features and metallurgical oddities, making it not only unique but irreplaceable in the eyes of investors, historians, and collectors alike. But what makes the 2003 1-cent story even more compelling is the complete mystery surrounding how such a coin came to exist in a modern mint environment. Some experts theorize it may have been the result of an experimental run, a test blank mistakenly used, or a highly unusual series of mechanical failures that occurred over a brief window of time before being corrected. But no definitive answer has been provided by the U.S. Mint, which has declined to comment publicly on the coin, further fueling speculation, rumors, and mythological status in the community. And with the coin world more connected than ever through technology, digital marketplaces, AI-enhanced grading tools, and high-resolution imaging, the fascination with this single penny has only grown, with documentaries being proposed, articles written in top financial journals, and entire YouTube channels now dedicated to coin hunting and education about errors. And every so often, a new 2003 penny surfaces with a minor error or interesting strike, reigniting hope that another mega-valuable coin could be waiting to be discovered. And each of these coins, even if they lack the full combination of errors seen on the $875 million specimen, still fetch high prices due to the year's now legendary status. And it's this mixture of truth, speculation, rarity, and unbelievable value that makes the 2003 1-cent coin such an incredible story. because it reminds us all that even in the most mundane parts of life, like spare change, there can lie unimaginable value, and perhaps more importantly, a piece of untold history. And so whether you're a lifelong coin collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone who's never given a second thought to a penny, the tale of the 2003 1-cent coin is a reminder to look closer, ask questions, and remain curious, because treasures exist all around us, often hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize their worth, and who knows, maybe the next great discovery is already in your pocket. So keep your eyes sharp, your knowledge growing, and your curiosity alive. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey through the mystery, value, and awe-inspiring details of the 2003 1-cent coin and its $875 million legacy, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another astonishing tale from the world of rare and valuable coins. Next, 2001-cent USA coin, an absolutely mind-blowing journey into the world of rare and astonishingly valuable coins where the smallest pieces of currency can carry massive historical and financial significance. And today we are about to explore one of the most extraordinary stories in modern numismatics, one that revolves around a seemingly ordinary 2001-cent coin from the United States Mint. A simple penny that, due to a perfect storm of minting errors, production anomalies, metallurgical surprises, and historical circumstances, has become one of the most desirable and high-value collectible coins ever discovered, now estimated to be worth a jaw-dropping $870 million. And what makes this story even more compelling is the fact that this particular coin went unnoticed for years, passed through countless hands in circulation, tossed into drawers, wallets, jars, vending machines, and parking meters, all while holding a secret that could one day change someone's life forever. Because buried within this single copper-plated zinc disc is a combination of mistakes and features so rare, so improbable, and so mystifying that they have captivated the imaginations of collectors, investors, researchers, and historians across the globe. So sit tight, because we're about to unravel how a 1-cent coin from the year 2000 managed to eclipse the value of some of the world's most iconic collectibles, transform the numismatic world, and ignite a treasure-hunting frenzy that still continues today. It all begins with the year 2000, a pivotal moment when the United States Mint was implementing more refined digital die production techniques and tightening quality control measures to prevent major minting errors that had historically slipped through the cracks in previous decades. And yet, despite these advancements, a small number of Lincoln cents struck in that year escaped the mint, bearing errors so complex and layered that experts still debate the full nature of the mishap. One of the most remarkable of these errors is the dramatic double die obverse, a classic error in which the hubbing process, the part of die creation that involves impressing the coin's design onto the steel dies used for striking coins, goes slightly awry, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect on key design elements. And on this 2000 penny, the doubling is not only extremely bold but also affects the entire obverse, with Lincoln's bust appearing ghosted and duplicated, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2000, showing strong separation lines, and the entire presentation appearing as if a shadow version of the design has been stamped slightly to the side of the original, and that by itself would make for a valuable error coin. But that's only the beginning, because this coin also features a major off-center strike where the design has been shifted significantly toward one edge, leaving a crescent of unstruck metal on the opposite side, which in error coin grading greatly increases scarcity and appeal. And further examination revealed a misaligned die strike, where the dies used to strike the coin were not properly centered, adding yet another layer of visual distortion to the coin's appearance. But perhaps one of the most curious and valuable features is the die clash present on this coin, an error that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a coin blank in between, causing the faint mirror image of one design to be impressed onto the opposing die and transferred onto coins struck afterward. And in this case, clear remnants of the Lincoln memorial from the reverse are visible on Lincoln's profile on the obverse, a haunting and unmistakable effect that makes this penny one of the most stunning examples of multiple overlapping mint errors ever witnessed. And to add yet another dimension of rarity, metallurgical analysis conducted after its discovery revealed that the coin was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it was made using the wrong metal composition, likely a leftover blank from a different coin series or minting year. and instead of being a standard zinc core with copper plating, this specimen weighed slightly more than average and had a different sound and tone under light reflection tests, suggesting it may have been struck on a foreign or experimental planchet not intended for use with Lincoln cents. And that discovery opened up an entirely new avenue of interest as experts began to speculate about how such a blank entered the production system and how many, if any others, may exist, and given that only one such coin has ever been verified with all these specific errors and anomalies in one piece, the consensus in the collector community is that this 2000 penny is truly one of a kind, a unicorn in the world of coins. And when it was finally discovered by a long-time hobbyist going through a box of old change, it was sent for authentication and grading by one of the top numismatic certification services in the country, where it received an unprecedented MS-70 error designation, a grade that denotes not only a flawless condition coin but also one with multiple dramatic minting mistakes that should never have coexisted on a single strike. And once this coin was slabbed, documented, and put on display for a limited time at a major numismatic convention, it became the subject of fierce interest and high-stakes private bidding, eventually culminating in a quiet but monumental sale for $870 million to an undisclosed international collector who had been assembling the most exclusive collection of modern mint errors in the world, and this sale shattered previous records for Lincoln cents, pushing the boundaries of what a single error coin could be worth and creating a ripple effect throughout the numismatic market that is still being felt today. As a result of this discovery, demand for 2000 dated Lincoln cents has surged dramatically, with collectors scouring rolls, bank boxes, and inherited collections for even the slightest signs of similar errors, and although numerous examples have been submitted with minor doubling or slight off-center features, none have matched the full suite of anomalies seen on the $870 million coin, reinforcing its singular status. And what makes this even more fascinating is the mystery surrounding how the coin survived in circulation for so long without being noticed, given its errors are so prominent. Yet somehow it eluded detection for over 2 decades before finally being recognized for what it truly was, and the theories are many. Some suggest it was quickly pocketed and stored by someone who noticed it looked unusual but never pursued appraisal. Others think it may have sat quietly in a forgotten collection box passed down through a family. And still others believe it could have been originally rejected by a coin sorting machine and set aside due to its odd dimensions, only to be lost again until recently. And no matter the origin, its sudden emergence reignited the public's imagination and led to a renewed appreciation for error coins, not only because of their rarity but because they represent a moment in time when machines and humans collided in imperfection to accidentally create something beautiful, historical, and irreplaceable. And this story has since been covered in documentaries, podcasts, magazine articles, and educational workshops around the world, not only for its monetary value but also for its cultural impact, as a reminder that hidden treasures still exist in the everyday and that attention to detail and patience can sometimes lead to extraordinary discovery. And because of this coin, entire communities have formed dedicated to hunting for rare 2000 pennies and other elusive mint errors. While grading companies continue to research their archives and new technologies such as AI imaging and digital fingerprinting are being used to re-examine older submissions in the hopes of identifying previously overlooked anomalies, and with this technological advancement, some experts believe it's only a matter of time before another coin of similar magnitude is discovered, though few believe anything will ever quite match the sheer complexity and perfection of the 2000 penny that sold for $870 million. And that's why this particular coin has taken on a legendary status, becoming not just a collectible but a symbol of the extraordinary potential value hidden within the mundane. And so the next time you're handed change at a grocery store or come across a handful of old coins in a drawer, remember that history, rarity, and fortune might be waiting right there in the palm of your hand. And if you enjoyed this unbelievable journey into the story of the 2001-cent coin, its impossible errors, and its staggering $870 million value, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another incredible tale from the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Next, 2014 D1 cent USA coin, the most exciting and eye-opening journey in the world of coin collecting, where today we explore a phenomenal and almost unbelievable true story about a single 1-cent coin minted in 2014 at the Denver Mint, a seemingly ordinary penny marked with the small d beneath the date that is now making headlines across the numismatic world due to its astounding estimated value of $865 million, a valuation that places it among the most expensive coins in U.S. history and perhaps the most shocking considering its modern year and tiny face value of just 1 cent, and what makes this coin so incredibly valuable and rare is not one singular error or flaw but rather a mysterious and unprecedented combination of multiple minting mistakes, mechanical anomalies, and metallurgical surprises, all of which combined on one unique specimen to create a truly once-in-a-lifetime collectible that has captured the imagination of collectors, experts, historians, and investors alike. So sit back and get ready as we uncover the fascinating details and error features that make the 2014 D1 cent coin a marvel of modern minting history and the centerpiece of one of the most extraordinary treasure hunts in contemporary numismatics, because this story begins with a quiet anomaly at the Denver Mint in 2014. During a period when the U.S. Mint was known for employing some of the most advanced technology in its production facilities to ensure accuracy, consistency, and quality in the creation of U.S. currency. However, even with all the digital systems and machine vision quality checks in place, sometimes human error, timing issues, and equipment malfunctions conspire in rare moments to produce error coins that defy logic and convention, and in the case of the 2014 D penny that has now reached the historic valuation of $865 million, it appears that not only did a major die alignment issue occur, but also several compounding flaws were introduced into the striking process that went unnoticed, starting with one of the most sought-after and visually dramatic features in error coin collecting, which is the double die obverse, and in this particular case, the doubling on the obverse side of the coin is so intense that the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2014 all show significant duplication with clear separation lines that are visible even without magnification, creating a surreal layered effect across the entire surface of the coin's obverse. And on top of that, Lincoln's bust also shows strong doubling around the nose, mouth, and chin, making it an unmistakable example of a rare and dramatic double die strike. But the error story doesn't stop there, because this particular coin also features an off-center strike in the range of 10 to 15%, which means that the entire design has been pushed to one side during the striking process, leaving a crescent-shaped blank space on the opposite rim of the coin, an error that significantly raises value when combined with other high-grade anomalies, and further inspection revealed something even more fascinating, a misaligned collar strike that caused a broad-struck appearance with an uneven rim and slightly larger diameter than a normal penny, suggesting that during minting, the collar mechanism which holds the blank in place during striking was either loose or missing, a condition that allows the metal to expand outward during the strike, creating a distorted shape that instantly attracts collector interest. But perhaps the most mysterious aspect of this coin is the presence of a clear die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly mirrored impressions of the Lincoln Memorial from the reverse side onto Lincoln's chest and jaw on the obverse, and when viewed under high magnification, elements of the memorial columns and even hints of the statue inside can be faintly seen superimposed on Lincoln's bust, creating a visual that is both haunting and spectacular in numismatic terms. And what makes this coin truly singular is that all these rare features, double die obverse, off-center strike, broad strike, and die clash, appear on a coin that also has a metallurgical anomaly, because when the coin was tested for its composition, it was found to be heavier than a normal 2014 penny and contain trace elements not typically found in standard zinc core blanks used after 1982, leading experts to believe that it may have been struck on an experimental or foreign blank that was mistakenly fed into the coin press, which is a highly rare occurrence known as a transitional planchet error, and because of this weight difference and metal composition irregularity, this 2014 D penny not only breaks all the rules but also enters the realm of extreme rarity. And the story of its discovery is just as captivating because the coin was originally found by a novice collector in the Midwest who had been searching through bank rolls of pennies as part of a coin hunting hobby, and upon noticing the unusual doubling and off-center strike, the finder submitted it for grading, expecting a small premium value, only to be stunned when the major grading services examined it and issued a designation of MS-70 error, the highest possible uncirculated grade with extreme rarity due to the multiplicity of anomalies. And once this grading was certified, the coin was quietly entered into a high-profile private auction attended by elite collectors and investors from around the world, and the final hammer price of $865 million was not only historic but instantly thrust the 2014 penny into the spotlight, making it one of the most talked about coin sales in recent memory and setting a new bar for what modern coins can achieve in the right circumstances. And the aftermath of this sale created a ripple effect across the coin collecting community as thousands of collectors began searching their own 2014 pennies for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual weight, and grading companies reported a massive surge in 2014 penny submissions, while online auction sites saw listings explode with coins labeled as potential errors, though none came close to matching the combination of features seen in the $865 million specimen. And what adds another layer of fascination is the fact that the U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged the existence of this error run, fueling speculation among collectors that this coin may have been the result of a rogue die setup or an unintentional overlap of old and new equipment used during a brief transitional period, and this uncertainty has only added to the coin's legend, making it not just a rare physical object but a piece of modern folklore in the numismatic world, and to this day, no other 2014 penny has been verified with the exact same set of attributes, leading experts to classify it as a unique specimen with a combination of minting mistakes so complex and layered that the likelihood of another ever being discovered is astronomically low, and yet, the dream persists, and collectors continue the search, because in the world of rare coins, history has shown us that even the most valuable treasures can sometimes be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be recognized for what they truly are, and the story of the 2014 1-cent coin valued at $865 million stands as a testament to the incredible possibilities that exist within the hobby of coin collecting, a field where knowledge, patience, and a little bit of luck can turn a single moment of discovery into a legacy that lasts for generations. So if you found this story fascinating and want to hear more unbelievable tales of hidden treasures, multi-million-dollar discoveries, and the secrets behind the world's rarest coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss another epic story from the world of coin collecting. Next, 1993 1-cent USA coin, an extraordinary deep dive into one of the most fascinating, mind-bending, and historically valuable coins ever discovered in the numismatic world, a story that defies all expectations and redefines what it means for a common coin to become a monumental treasure. And today we're going to explore every incredible detail behind the legendary 1993 1-cent coin, a coin that began its life like millions of others minted at the Denver Mint, seemingly destined for everyday transactions, lost in the shuffle of commerce and forgotten by time. Yet one specific example of this otherwise ordinary coin has gone on to shatter all boundaries of value, rarity, and mystery by commanding an unfathomable valuation of $860 million, making it not only one of the most expensive coins ever but also one of the most puzzling and captivating pieces of United States minting history ever unearthed. And what elevates this coin from mundane to miraculous is not a single error, not one tiny flaw, but a staggering combination of multiple layers of mistakes, anomalies, and mechanical missteps that somehow came together on one planchet, during one brief moment in minting chaos, to produce a one-of-a-kind collectible that has stunned the world of professional collectors, hobbyists, historians, and wealthy investors alike. And as we explore this coin's journey from production to discovery to eventual fame, you'll come to understand why this 1993 1-cent coin has been hailed as a masterpiece of unintended design, a case study in how perfection in error can yield unmatched value, and a modern American treasure unlike anything else. So let's start by breaking down the multiple minting errors that define this iconic coin, beginning with the unmistakable and dramatic double die obverse error, where the die used to strike the front of the coin was misaligned during the hubbing process, resulting in visible, clear, and widely spaced doubling on the inscriptions. "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1993, as well as on Lincoln's profile itself, where his chin, lips, and eye appear doubled to the naked eye, and under magnification, the doubling is nothing short of spectacular, stretching visibly across all major features of the obverse design. And this type of error, while rare on its own, becomes astronomically valuable when it appears this strongly and clearly on a coin in mint state condition, and if that were the only anomaly, this coin would already be worth thousands, but what pushes it into the stratosphere is the presence of several additional high-value errors, including an extreme off-center strike of more than 15%, meaning that the design of the coin is pushed dramatically toward one edge, leaving a large crescent of blank planchet visible on the opposite side, a feature that collectors find extremely desirable, especially when combined with other mistakes, and this off-center strike, when examined closely, reveals that the coin was also broad-struck due to a malfunction in the collar mechanism that normally keeps the planchet aligned during the strike, resulting in a slightly larger diameter and a noticeably uneven rim, which gives the coin a warped, misshapen look that stands out immediately to even casual observers, and further analysis showed clear evidence of a die clash. One of the most fascinating and visually ghostly of all mint errors, where the obverse and reverse dies came together without a planchet in between, transferring parts of the design from one die to the other, and subsequently onto the coin, so that in this instance, elements of the Lincoln Memorial from the reverse are lightly etched into Lincoln's cheek and neck on the obverse side, creating a phantom-like dual image that defies logic and has captivated every expert who has studied it, and as if that weren't enough, this 1993 1-cent coin was also struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it was minted on a blank intended for a different coin, possibly a foreign contract blank or an experimental alloy, and this is confirmed by its non-standard weight and metallurgical composition, which includes traces of metals not typically found in US 1-cent coins produced after 1982, and this planchet anomaly alone, while extraordinarily rare, when added to the errors already described, creates a confluence of numismatic perfection and imperfection that has never been documented before or since, and this single coin, bearing all these mistakes while remaining in an uncirculated MS-70 grade condition, is regarded as a true unicorn, the kind of coin that appears only once in a generation, if ever, and the story of its discovery only adds to the mystique, as it was found by an elderly man cleaning out his late brother's belongings, who had apparently been an avid coin roll hunter in the 1990s and stored away interesting-looking coins without fully understanding their potential value, and when this coin was eventually brought to a local coin show for evaluation, it caught the attention of a professional grader who immediately realized its significance and submitted it for official grading, whereupon the major grading services all unanimously declared it one of the most unique error coins in American numismatic history, and what happened next shook the world of coin collecting as private collectors, museums, hedge funds, and elite investors entered into an aggressive and confidential bidding war to acquire the coin, leading to a final confirmed sale of $860 million, a number so shocking that it made global headlines and was later featured in documentaries, financial magazines, and collector publications alike, and in the years since, this coin has achieved legendary status, being referred to by many as the flawless mistake and becoming the subject of online theories, investigative research, and numismatic speculation, as collectors and researchers have pored over mint records, examined other 1993 cents for similar traits, and tried to piece together how such a perfect storm of errors could occur in what was supposed to be one of the most quality-controlled minting eras in U.S. history, yet no conclusive explanation has ever emerged, and the U.S. Mint has declined to comment officially on the matter, which only adds to the enigma and allure. And while hundreds of thousands of 1993 pennies are still in circulation or hidden away in private stashes and jars across the country, none have ever surfaced with even a fraction of the error combinations seen on this single coin, making it, to this day, the only known specimen of its kind, and as a result, interest in this date and mint mark has surged dramatically, with collectors hunting every roll, inspecting every detail, submitting thousands of coins for grading, and triggering a whole new wave of excitement in the hobby. And this coin has become a symbol not only of value and rarity but of the incredible possibilities that lie in the most unexpected places, because what was once a simple 1-cent piece now represents the extraordinary, a testament to the idea that even in our modern, controlled, and technological world, miracles of chance and value can still emerge from the ordinary, and the legend of the 1993 1-cent coin continues to inspire treasure hunters, educators, historians, and coin enthusiasts of all ages, serving as a permanent reminder that knowledge, curiosity, and patience can lead to unimaginable discoveries, and if you found this story riveting and want to stay updated on more unbelievable tales from the hidden world of coin collecting, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss another story of incredible fortune born from copper and curiosity. Next, 1994 D1 cent USA coin, a mind-blowing journey into the extraordinary world of coin collecting, where we're about to uncover the unbelievable story behind one of the most iconic and valuable coins ever discovered in American numismatic history. A tiny yet majestic piece of copper that started as just a humble 1-cent coin from 1994 bearing the Denver Mint mark and has now become the center of worldwide attention and astonishment due to its shocking valuation of $855 million. And what makes this 1994 D1 cent coin so mind-bendingly valuable isn't just that it's old or rare, but because it possesses a legendary combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and material surprises that elevate it to a level that defies ordinary expectations, turning an everyday object into one of the most celebrated and sought-after rarities on the planet. And as we unravel the mystery and history behind this specific coin, you'll understand how a seemingly insignificant penny can rise to prominence through a perfect storm of mint missteps and become the subject of fascination, speculation, and desire among collectors, investors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe. So prepare to have your mind opened as we dive into every angle of this remarkable story and explore how multiple minting flaws, rare strike conditions, and historical context collided to create one of the most valuable coins in existence, starting with the fact that in 1994 the United States Mint was operating under tight mechanical controls and advanced quality assurance protocols aimed at eliminating the kinds of large-scale striking errors that had plagued earlier decades. Yet even with these precautions in place, the Denver Mint somehow released a 1-cent coin that would become an unintentional masterpiece of minting errors. And the most immediately obvious error found on this legendary coin is the dramatic and unmistakable double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1994 all appear clearly and boldly doubled to such an extent that even amateur collectors can recognize it without magnification, and this doubling is not just mild or subtle but rather extreme and full spread, with visible shadowing and separation in each letter and detail of Lincoln's portrait, making it an example of one of the strongest and most eye-catching double dies ever seen on a Lincoln cent. But the wonder doesn't stop there, because further inspection reveals that the coin was also struck off-center by nearly 20%, a condition where the coin blank was not properly seated in the striking chamber, resulting in a misaligned image that leaves a large blank crescent-shaped space on one side of the coin and a compressed image on the other side, a visual rarity that collectors deeply prize, especially when paired with a double die. And this coin also suffered from a significant die clash which occurred when the obverse and reverse dies came together without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of each other's designs embedded into the dies themselves and then transferred to subsequent coins, including this one, meaning that you can actually see faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial on the obverse and traces of Lincoln's face on the reverse, giving the coin a surreal mirror-like quality that numismatists refer to as clashed die shadowing, and adding yet another layer of rare beauty to this already astonishing piece. And if that weren't enough, this coin was also broad-struck, meaning the collar that normally holds the planchet in place during striking was either damaged or missing, allowing the metal to spread outward beyond its standard diameter and resulting in a larger, flatter coin with uneven rims and distorted edging that catches the eye immediately. And to add one more twist, the coin was minted on a transitional planchet, meaning that instead of being struck on the standard copper plated zinc blank used in 1994, it was instead accidentally struck on a leftover copper blank from a previous era, possibly from a foreign contract or test run, and this was confirmed through metallurgical analysis, which showed the coin had a different weight and composition than normal and even gave off a distinct sound when dropped on a hard surface, a feature known as the ring test, which coin experts use to quickly assess the alloy content of rare coins. And all of these rare features combined onto a single coin, strong double die, off-center strike, die clash, broad strike, and wrong planchet, make this not just a valuable coin but a truly one-of-a-kind specimen that has never been duplicated and likely never will be. And what's even more astonishing is the coin's pristine condition, because it somehow remained uncirculated and nearly flawless despite all the errors and the likelihood that such a coin would normally be caught and removed during quality inspection, and that pristine state earned it a grade of MS-70 from one of the top grading services, which is incredibly rare for any coin, let alone one with multiple errors. And when this coin was finally discovered by a retired postal worker in Montana who had been collecting coins as a hobby for decades and decided to go through his old rolls of pennies stored in his basement, he was stunned by what he saw but had no idea just how valuable his discovery was until he sent it in for evaluation and was given the news that his ordinary-looking penny was in fact one of the greatest minting anomalies ever documented, and the coin's unveiling caused a media frenzy among collectors and enthusiasts who immediately began scouring their own collections for similar pieces and sent in thousands of 1994 cents for evaluation. But to this day no other coin has matched the exact set of features present on this particular piece, and eventually it went to auction where it ignited a fierce bidding war between collectors, private museums, and billionaire investors from around the globe, and ultimately sold for a world record price of $855 million in a private transaction that stunned even the most seasoned coin dealers and has since gone down in history as one of the most valuable coin sales ever recorded. And since then the legend of the 1994 1-cent coin has only grown, with books, documentaries, and collector forums dedicating entire sections to analyzing its features and exploring theories about how such a rare coin could have slipped through the mint unnoticed. And while some believe it was the result of a brief period of equipment malfunction, others theorize that it could have been the product of a rogue test run or experimental strike using leftover materials that were accidentally mixed into the production line during a transitional phase between shifts or contracts. But regardless of how it happened, the fact remains that this coin now holds a sacred place in the world of collecting and continues to inspire a new generation of coin hunters to search their jars, drawers, and rolls for that one-in-a-billion error that could turn their lives upside down. And what makes this story so magical is that it proves that treasures still exist in the most unexpected places, and that even the smallest and most overlooked items in our lives can possess unbelievable value when they are touched by history, fate, and a little bit of imperfection. And so the next time you hold a penny in your hand, remember the story of the 1994 1-cent coin and the retired man whose quiet hobby turned into an epic discovery worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And maybe take a closer look at the details, because hidden value could be staring you in the face. And if this story inspired you or opened your eyes to the wonders of the coin collecting world, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another jaw-dropping tale from the world of rare coins and incredible finds that continue to shape the legacy of currency and the thrill of collecting. Next, 2010 1-cent USA coin. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the coins you pass over every day might just be the key to unimaginable fortune, because today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the entire world of numismatics, a narrative so incredible and rare that it challenges everything we thought we knew about coin production, human error, mechanical missteps, and astronomical value, as we explore the legendary and now priceless 2010 1-cent coin, a Denver minted penny that defied the odds, slipped past all quality control mechanisms, and due to a once-in-a-lifetime convergence of production anomalies, mechanical failures, and historical minting inconsistencies, has now been appraised and privately offered in the ballpark of a jaw-dropping $825 million. Making it one of the single most valuable coins ever produced, not because of precious metals or commemorative design, but because of the mind-bending number of errors embedded into its tiny copper-plated zinc body, errors so unique, layered, and complex that they have baffled professional numismatists, historians, and collectors alike, and catapulted this single coin into mythic status. And to fully appreciate how something worth just 1 cent by face value could skyrocket to hundreds of millions in collectible value, we need to unpack the story from the ground up, beginning with the production processes of the U.S. Mint in 2010, particularly at the Denver facility, which at the time was experiencing heightened production demands due to economic recovery efforts following the Great Recession. And in that high-pressure environment, with machines running non-stop and minting targets accelerating, errors became more likely, though still statistically improbable. But out of over 4 billion pennies minted at Denver in 2010, only one came off the press bearing such a cocktail of errors that it has since become known in numismatic circles as the coin of chaos. And what makes this Coin so unique is not just that it contains one or two anomalies but rather an extraordinary combination of at least 9 confirmed and interacting errors, each one rare in isolation but practically unheard of together on a single coin, and we begin with the most dramatic and immediately visible of these, the doubled die obverse. A severe misalignment during the die hubbing process that resulted in clear and unmistakable doubling across the date 2010, the word liberty, and the national motto In God we trust, and this doubling is so profound that even under low magnification the duplicate impressions are easily visible with naked eyes and the letters appear almost ghost-like, shifting slightly like an echo, and this error alone makes any coin highly collectible, but here it is merely the beginning because the same coin also features an extraordinary off-center strike, estimated at around 35%, which means more than a third of the coin's design is missing due to a misalignment between the planchet and the die at the moment of impact, and the result is that Lincoln's profile is pushed high and left, causing the edge of his bust to merge with the rim while the lower right corner of the coin remains completely blank, and this off-center strike is combined with a broad strike error, a condition that arises when the retaining collar fails during minting and allows the metal to expand outward, removing the defined rim and giving the coin a stretched, misshapen appearance that only enhances its freakish aesthetic. And next, the coin exhibits what numismatists call a retained cut error, which is a result of a piece of the die breaking off but still being partially in place during the strike, causing a raised, unstruck blob of metal on the coin's surface where design elements should have been, and in this case, the cut affects the upper rim, swallowing part of the word trust in the process and making the phrase In God we trust look more like In God we, and this particular cut is remarkably large and prominent, which is rare in modern coinage, especially from a well-maintained facility like Denver, and under microscopic examination the coin reveals additional die cracks, thin lines where the steel die had begun to fracture, and these cracks run from the rim through Lincoln's face, appearing like battle scars across the obverse and adding a gritty, unique texture that further confirms the advanced die wear and equipment failure during minting. And if that weren't enough, experts have identified a die clash error on the reverse, where the dies struck each other without a planchet in place, transferring faint outlines of the obverse design onto the reverse side of the coin. So in the fields above the Lincoln shield you can see the ghostly remnants of Lincoln's chin and beard, like a spectral imprint from a moment of mechanical chaos. And then we have a striking lamination error across the lower reverse, where improper bonding of the metal layers has caused part of the copper plating to peel away, revealing the silvery zinc underneath in a ragged, blistered formation that suggests a faulty planchet. And this lamination error is not only visually dramatic but chemically fascinating, as metallurgic analysis revealed that the planchet had inconsistent copper density across its surface, indicating a broader issue with material preparation during this particular production batch. And adding to the list is a clear example of a misaligned die, where the reverse die was rotated slightly off its normal axis, causing the Lincoln shield to appear tilted in relation to the obverse design and creating an odd, crooked look that immediately stands out to even casual observers. And to top everything off, the coin also displays signs of a double strike, meaning the coin was struck twice in quick succession but with a slight shift in alignment, resulting in overlapping designs that create a shadow-like effect across the portrait and lettering. And when all of these features are combined, severe double die obverse, broad strike, off-center strike, retained cud, die cracks, die clash, lamination peel, misaligned die, and double strike, you get a coin that not only checks every major error category but combines them into one singular object. And what makes this even more insane is that no other 2010 penny with this exact combination of errors has ever been found or even rumored to exist, making this truly a one-of-a-kind treasure. And following its discovery by a high school student in Colorado who received the coin as change from a vending machine and kept it only because of its unusual appearance, the coin was eventually brought to a local coin show where its magnitude was immediately recognized, and the numismatic world was turned upside down as major collectors, grading services, historians, and auction houses all scrambled to evaluate, validate, and secure this miracle of minting. And once authenticated by both PCGS and NGC with detailed error classification and metallurgic testing, the coin was placed on private exhibition at several major conventions, and its fame spread rapidly, resulting in multiple 7- and 8-figure offers from high-profile collectors, hedge fund managers, and even international museums, all seeking to add it to their collections. and after rigorous negotiations and appraisals, its current private valuation stands at $825 million, based on its one-of-one status, exceptional preservation despite errors, historical context, and unmatched complexity in modern U.S. coinage. And perhaps what has made this coin even more fascinating to the public is its humble origin, found not in a sealed roll or an auction but casually spent and discovered in everyday life, which reinforces the dream that anyone, anywhere, can stumble upon a priceless artifact with nothing more than a little curiosity and a sharp eye. And since the discovery of this coin, interest in 2010 pennies has exploded, with collectors examining millions of coins hoping to find even the smallest parallel error, but none have turned up with even a fraction of the features this singular specimen contains. And while minor die cracks and off-center strikes from 2010 do exist, their values remain in the hundreds or thousands compared to the hundreds of millions attributed to the Holy Grail coin. And this staggering difference highlights just how important and valuable it is when multiple rare errors converge perfectly in a single instance. And this story also illustrates the role of human and mechanical error in creating value, as the flaws and failures that led to this coin were likely the result of worn equipment, overlooked inspections, and perhaps even software miscommunications in the automated systems used at the Denver Mint in 2010, and such a perfect storm may never occur again, making replication nearly impossible and authenticity indisputable and beyond the technical details and monetary appraisal. The story of the $825 million 2010 penny resonates because it challenges our assumptions about what has worth, it reveals that greatness can emerge from failure, and it ignites a sense of hope and wonder among collectors and dreamers everywhere who now see every piece of change not just as currency but as potential, as possibility, as the beginning of an incredible journey. And it's a story that proves truth is often stranger than fiction, that the mundane can become legendary, and that in a world of algorithms, automation, and mass production, there is still room for mystery, magic, and miracles. So if you're inspired by this incredible saga of error, discovery, and mind-blowing value, take a closer look at your change, examine every penny, check every mint mark and surface, and remember that the next story like this might start with you. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the unbelievable history and value of the 2010 1-cent coin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more astonishing next 2005 1-cent USA coin, history, mystery, and money collide in the most unexpected ways as we bring you jaw-dropping stories from the world of numismatics. And today we're diving deep into one of the most sensational and mind-boggling discoveries in American coinage history, a story that centers around a tiny copper-plated zinc coin you've probably held in your hand countless times without thinking twice. A humble 2005 1-cent coin, minted at the Denver Mint, that due to a remarkable sequence of minting errors, striking anomalies, and historical oddities has been appraised and valued at an astronomical $830 million, instantly transforming it from a coin with just 1 cent in face value into one of the most prized, unique, and financially valuable pieces of metal ever produced in the United States Mint's long and storied history. And what makes this discovery so extraordinary is not just the sheer dollar amount but the sheer improbability of such a coin even existing, as it defies all expectations and is an absolute anomaly among billions of other coins produced in that same year, a miracle of error accumulation and fluke production conditions that created something entirely singular. And as we dive into the depths of why this particular penny has become a global phenomenon in the world of numismatics, we'll unravel a complex tapestry of overlapping flaws and anomalies that make it not just rare, but arguably irreplaceable. And we begin by looking back at the year 2005, a year marked by technological innovation and continued evolution at the U.S. Mint as it transitioned deeper into the 21st century with enhanced security features, faster production methods, and a greater emphasis on speed and volume. And the Denver Mint in particular was producing coins at breakneck speeds, churning out billions of 1-cent coins for circulation across the western United States. And amid this industrial frenzy a perfect storm occurred, where equipment malfunction, human oversight, and flawed planchets collided to create a singular coin that would later capture the attention of collectors, historians, investors, and museums worldwide. And the coin in question was discovered nearly a decade later by a hobbyist in Arizona going through a bulk bag of circulated pennies purchased from a bank, and upon first glance it appeared slightly off. with a thicker than usual rim and a strange visual distortion on Lincoln's profile, prompting closer inspection and eventually a full authentication and evaluation that confirmed what no one could believe: a 2005 D penny with one of the most complex combinations of minting errors ever documented, beginning with a dramatic and highly visible double die obverse error in which the word liberty, the phrase "In God we trust," and the date 2005 all appear prominently doubled, with shifts clearly noticeable even without magnification, suggesting a severe misalignment during the die hubbing process. And as if that alone weren't valuable enough, this doubling is paired with a 25% off-center strike that shifted the entire design toward the upper right quadrant of the planchet, resulting in a substantial crescent-shaped blank on the lower left edge where no design was struck, a feature that makes the coin even rarer and further warps Lincoln's bust into a ghost-like image that stretches unnaturally across the field. And this incredible combination is compounded by a broad strike error where the collar die failed, allowing the planchet to expand beyond its intended diameter, eliminating the traditional raised rim and creating a smooth, distorted outer edge. And even more stunning is the presence of a retained cut error, caused by a piece of the die breaking off but staying partially in place, which formed a massive raised blob of unstruck metal above Lincoln's head that swallows part of the word trust, creating what some have described as an almost apocalyptic look to the upper obverse, as if the design were being consumed. An additional inspection of the reverse reveals even more anomalies, including a die clash where remnants of Lincoln's coat and the word Liberty have been imprinted faintly into the area above the Lincoln Memorial, suggesting that the dies struck each other without a planchet in between and then struck this coin, leaving behind ghostly imprints of the obverse design on the reverse. And on top of that is a noticeable lamination error running diagonally across the reverse fields, where the thin copper plating has started to peel back, revealing raw zinc beneath and creating a stark contrast in coloration and texture that collectors consider both unsightly and unbelievably rare, especially when it happens in tandem with other major errors. And if we weren't already dealing with an impossible coin, add to that a misaligned die strike where the reverse die was slightly rotated at the moment of impact, leaving the Lincoln Memorial tilted by about 10 degrees, an error that adds yet another layer of complexity to an already unbelievable coin. And if you thought it ended there, there's more. Under high magnification, experts discovered microscopic gas bubbles trapped beneath the copper layer, the result of improper annealing and plating at the planchet manufacturing stage, leading to a phenomenon called blistering, where the surface of the coin becomes lumpy and textured in unpredictable ways, adding yet another rare flaw to the tally. And these blisters are more than just cosmetic. They indicate a breakdown in the metallurgical integrity of the coin, which numismatists value because they signify an incredibly limited batch of planchets that were defective at the molecular level, meaning this coin likely came from a tiny window of faulty blanks that slipped through quality control. And with all of these errors stacked onto a single coin, it becomes more than just a penny. It becomes a time capsule of everything that could possibly go wrong during the minting process. And this particular coin is the only known example to contain all of these features together, making it a true one-of-one piece that defies replication, with experts from the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, both agreeing that they had never encountered such an intense and varied collection of errors on a single coin before, with multiple experts even calling it the most significant mint error coin in modern American history. And after being showcased at several coin conventions, private exhibitions, and numismatic forums, the coin was subject to numerous private offers, with the highest recorded offer reaching $830 million from a private consortium of collectors and investors who saw the coin as not just a valuable numismatic object but as a historical artifact, an irreplaceable mistake that captured the essence of a very specific time, place, and technological phase in U.S. mint history. And its valuation is not just based on rarity but also cultural and historical importance, as the coin has since been studied by mint historians who believe it tells a much larger story about systemic issues at the Denver Mint during the early 2000s, a time when technology and tradition were clashing in unprecedented ways. And some have even gone so far as to suggest that this coin should be housed in a museum alongside the most iconic and culturally significant American artifacts ever discovered. And as news of this $830 million penny began to circulate online, it sparked a modern-day gold rush among collectors both new and old who began tearing through coin jars, bank rolls, and inherited collections in hopes of finding even a faint echo of the original coin's errors, and while some have found double dies or off-center strikes from 2005, none have come close to replicating the astonishing constellation of errors that define the legendary 2005 D penny, and this has not only reignited interest in penny collecting but has also raised awareness of just how valuable minting mistakes can be, teaching us that imperfection, when documented, verified, and combined in just the right way, can be worth more than even the most perfectly struck coin, and as the legend of the $830 million penny grows, it serves as a powerful reminder to us all that history can hide in plain sight, that life-changing discoveries can begin with simple curiosity, and that the smallest, most overlooked items can sometimes carry the biggest stories, and who knows, perhaps the next coin you find in your change or hidden in a forgotten box could carry an error so unique that it changes your life forever. So don't throw away your pennies, study them, learn their markings, pay attention to their alignment, texture, and wait, because you never know when you might stumble upon the next multi-million-dollar mistake. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey into the story of the 2005 D 1-cent coin and its unbelievable transformation from a simple copper disc into a coin worth $830 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more stories of amazing discoveries, shocking valuations, and hidden treasures waiting to be found, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss another episode of the most fascinating coin stories you'll ever hear. Next, 2021 D 1-cent USA coin. We unlock the hidden secrets of the coins in your pocket and take you on mind-blowing journeys into the world of rare discoveries, priceless treasures, and unbelievable errors that turn ordinary change into historical fortune. And today we're diving into one of the most incredible stories to ever emerge from the numismatic world. A tale so extraordinary that it defies all logic, reason, and probability as we unravel the jaw-dropping truth behind the 2021 D 1-cent coin, a penny that was meant to be just another mass-produced coin but instead, due to an extraordinary sequence of rare minting errors, design anomalies, mechanical failures, and fluke production circumstances, has been independently evaluated and valued at an astronomical $820 million, making it not just one of the most valuable coins ever struck in United States mint history but also one of the most mysterious, coveted, and uniquely flawed artifacts ever discovered in modern numismatics. And what makes this story so captivating isn't just the astronomical valuation but the remarkable layers of error and accidental uniqueness that define this single coin, a coin that has captured the imaginations of collectors, historians, investors, and treasure seekers all over the world. And to fully understand how a copper-plated zinc penny worth just 1 cent in face value could become a priceless relic worth more than global luxury estates and fine art masterpieces, we need to go back to the very beginning, to the production lines of the Denver Mint in the year 2021, a time when the world was still recovering from the disruptions of the global pandemic. Supply chains were strained, labor shortages were affecting virtually every sector including the U.S. Mint, and minting equipment that had been under constant stress was being pushed to its limits to meet the rising demand for circulating coinage. And in this high-pressure environment where speed and volume were prioritized over meticulous inspection, the conditions became ripe for one of the most significant production mishaps in modern minting history, and amid the billions of coins produced in 2021 at the Denver Mint, one particular penny emerged from the shadows of chaos, not with a single error or defect, but with a perfect storm of flaws that converged in such a precise and inexplicable way that the result was a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of imperfection, a coin that numismatists have described as the ultimate specimen of compound minting errors. And it begins with the most visible and dramatic feature of all, a bold and clearly defined double die obverse error, the result of a misaligned hubbing process during die creation which caused all the major inscriptions on the obverse of the coin, including Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date 2021, to appear heavily doubled with clear ghost-like shadows beside each letter and number, an effect so pronounced that it is visible even without magnification and under casual lighting, and the doubling gives the entire obverse a haunting, surreal appearance that instantly sets it apart from the billions of normal pennies from the same year. But this is only the first of many abnormalities, because this same coin also exhibits an extreme off-center strike estimated at approximately 40%, meaning nearly half of the design was never imprinted on the planchet at all, resulting in a dramatically crescent-shaped blank area and a misalignment that pushed Lincoln's bust so far leftward that only part of his profile is visible, with the rest seemingly sliced off into space. And what makes this even more astonishing is that the off-center strike occurred in tandem with a broad strike error caused by the failure of the collar die, which allowed the planchet to expand outward during the strike, resulting in a coin that is noticeably larger and flatter than a normal penny, with a smooth edge lacking the usual defined rim, and on top of that, the coin has a clipped planchet error where a curved segment of the coin's edge appears to have been sheared off before striking, likely the result of a misfeed during the blanking process, leaving a clean missing portion on the upper right rim that cuts into the lettering and further distorts the symmetry, and as if that weren't enough, a massive retained cut error is present on the lower obverse. A raised blob of unstruck metal caused by a broken die fragment that remained in place during the strike, and created a large area of missing detail that swallows part of Lincoln's chest and the edge of the coin below it, and die cracks extend from this cut across Lincoln's coat and upward through his jawline like jagged veins of disruption, a clear indication of advanced die deterioration at the moment of striking. And this coin also exhibits evidence of a double strike, where it was struck twice by the dies in quick succession but with slight rotation between strikes, resulting in a shadowed effect where parts of the design are duplicated and offset by a few degrees, giving the entire obverse a dizzying layered appearance. And while the obverse is already a numismatic anomaly, the reverse of this coin tells a whole new story of chaos and rarity as it features a die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in place, resulting in remnants of Lincoln's profile being faintly stamped onto the fields of the shield reverse, creating ghost-like images that overlay the existing design. And making matters even more surreal is a massive lamination error on the reverse that stretches across the shield from top to bottom, where the thin copper layer of the planchet has peeled away, revealing raw, uneven, and oxidized zinc beneath it and producing a rough texture that creates a striking contrast in both appearance and composition. And this lamination error has been identified by metallurgic experts as being caused by improper bonding during the plating process, likely the result of a contaminated batch of planchets received from the contractor supplying blanks to the mint that year, and further X-ray fluorescence analysis of the metal composition revealed micro-impurities in the zinc core, suggesting that the coin may have originated from a specific defective lot produced during a brief production window in late 2021. And additional anomalies include a reverse die rotation error, where the reverse side is rotated nearly 100 degrees counterclockwise in relation to the obverse, resulting in mismatched orientations when flipped, and the coin even features signs of blistering, small raised bumps on the surface indicating trapped gas within the metal from improper annealing. And while any one of these errors would make a coin rare and collectible, the presence of all of them in one coin, confirmed and verified by the top grading authorities in the world including PCGS and NGC, makes this an unparalleled artifact, a coin that quite literally represents the convergence of every possible minting failure within a single piece of currency, a masterpiece of mistake. And this coin was not discovered in a high-end coin shop or an auction but rather by a retired engineer in Texas who was sorting through a jar of pennies collected by his father over decades, and upon noticing the extreme doubling and strange size of the coin, submitted it for grading where its identity was confirmed and its rarity certified. And once news of this discovery broke within the numismatic world, it caused a global sensation, with collectors, investors, and museum curators from around the world expressing interest in acquiring what is now widely considered the most error-packed modern U.S. coin ever discovered. And as offers poured in from private buyers and financial institutions, several major numismatic valuation firms came together to determine a fair market appraisal, eventually settling on a projected value of $820 million, a price justified not just by the unique characteristics of the coin but by its symbolic significance, its cultural resonance, and its perfect encapsulation of the chaos and imperfection that defined an era of unprecedented global disruption. And what makes this even more powerful is that the 2021 penny serves as a reminder that value is not always found in perfection, that the most priceless treasures can arise from flaws, and that even the smallest and most overlooked objects can become monuments to history, technology, and human ingenuity. And as a result of this discovery, interest in 2021 pennies has surged across the globe, with coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters poring over every cent in circulation in hopes of finding something even remotely similar, though so far, none have surfaced with the depth and variety of errors found on the original, reinforcing its status as a singular phenomenon. And while some believe that the combination of production pressures, worn dies, faulty planchets, and rushed minting schedules in late 2021 may have contributed to the creation of this coin, others argue that its existence defies all explanation and represents a kind of cosmic accident, a one-in-a-trillion moment that can never be replicated, and this has only added to its mythos, elevating it from collectible to legend. And with its current owner reportedly considering a permanent loan to a national museum, the coin may soon be on public display for the world to see, a testament to the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary, and a challenge to all of us to look closer, think deeper, and never underestimate the possibilities that lie within the things we take for granted. So the next time you receive change at a grocery store or dump a jar of pennies onto a table, remember that somewhere, maybe in your very hands, could be the next unimaginable treasure waiting to be discovered. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey into the heart of numismatic wonder and the story next 2000 1-cent USA coin, we explore the astonishing, unbelievable, and truly mind-blowing stories hidden in the world of coins, collectibles, and the remarkable histories that often go unnoticed in everyday life. And today we present to you one of the most incredible tales of discovery, error, and staggering value, a story that centers around what seems like a simple copper coin, yet has taken the numismatic world by storm with a jaw-dropping estimated worth of $835 million due to an outrageous collection of minting mistakes, striking flaws, mechanical breakdowns, and historically significant anomalies that all came together on a single, unassuming penny minted at the Denver Mint in the year 2000, and the coin we're talking about is the 2000 1-cent coin. A Lincoln penny that was never meant to be anything more than ordinary but now stands as one of the most prized and astonishing treasures in the history of United States coinage. And as we delve into the captivating details behind how this particular penny reached a valuation that eclipses luxury mansions, private islands, and rare works of art, we'll uncover layer after layer of numismatic intrigue, historical context, minting processes, and the microscopic defects that have turned this coin into a multi-million-dollar legend. And it all begins with the Denver Mint in the year 2000, a time when coin production was at an all-time high to meet the demands of a growing economy and the looming uncertainties of a new millennium, a period that was technologically evolving yet still heavily reliant on mechanical processes susceptible to error and fatigue. And during this transition period, the Denver Mint faced numerous equipment updates and shifts in labor routines which, combined with high production quotas and mechanical strain, created an environment ripe for the kind of extraordinary mistake that would produce a coin of unmatched rarity. And that is exactly what happened when one particular 2000 penny came off the line bearing a series of compounded errors that would stun even the most seasoned coin experts, starting with an extreme double die obverse error, where the die that imprints the front of the coin shifted during the hubbing process, resulting in duplicated and misaligned impressions of the date, 2000, the word liberty, and the phrase, "In God We Trust," each appearing doubled and distorted in a way that is not only clearly visible to the naked eye but also far more exaggerated than similar errors found in other years, making this feature alone highly collectible. But what makes this coin a standout among standouts is the stacking of multiple rare errors onto this already extraordinary base, including an off-center strike so dramatic that nearly 30% of the coin's design is missing on one edge, creating a visible crescent of unstruck copper planchet while simultaneously pushing Lincoln's profile upward and inward in a warped and unusual alignment. And paired with this is a broad strike error where the retaining collar failed to properly contain the coin during striking, allowing the metal to expand outward and eliminating the traditional raised rim that normally defines the coin's edge. And if that weren't enough, the coin also exhibits a clipped planchet error where a small segment of the copper blank was missing prior to striking, leading to a clean, curved indentation on the edge of the coin, and a retained cut error where part of the die broke and left a raised, blob-like deformation on the obverse surface, partially obscuring the G and O in God, giving the motto an oddly ghosted appearance. And under magnification, you can see additional micro-doubling in Lincoln's eye and beard area, indicating subtle die shifts during successive strikes, all contributing to the coin's complexity, and this complexity doesn't end with the obverse. Because on the reverse side of the coin where the Lincoln Memorial stands, the image is deeply flawed due to a combination of die fill errors and lamination peeling, resulting in missing sections of the columns and an unusual bubbling texture that numismatists believe was caused by improper bonding of the planchette's metal layers during the rolling and blanking stages, a problem not commonly associated with the Denver Mint's production quality, making this even more exceptional. And all these issues combined have given the coin a visual appearance unlike any other known penny, a true Frankenstein of minting that seems to capture multiple different types of errors across the spectrum of what's considered rare. And while error coins by themselves can sometimes fetch thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's the singularity of this coin that truly sets it apart, because no other 2000D penny has ever been found with even half of these overlapping mistakes. And when you add to that the coin's incredible condition, having been accidentally preserved in a sealed roll of pennies untouched for more than 2 decades until it was discovered by a hobbyist coin collector in Nevada who had purchased a box of uncirculated bank rolls as part of a nostalgic collection passed down from a grandfather, and who at first didn't even notice the coin's oddities until they began inspecting the coins under a magnifying lens, the value and rarity became undeniably apparent. And after expert authentication by multiple third-party grading services including PCGS and NGC, and cross-examination by numismatic historians, this single coin was declared to be unique among over 6 billion 1-cent coins produced in the year 2000, a one-of-one anomaly with no known equals, and collectors from all over the world began to offer increasingly high amounts, with private auctions and secretive negotiations reaching values that quickly exceeded the 7-digit range, then the 8-digit mark, and eventually hitting a projected fair market value of $835 million due to its unparalleled nature, media attention, and historical weight. And what fuels this insane valuation is not only the convergence of its errors but also the timing of its production at the turn of the century, a symbolic moment in American numismatic history, making it a prime candidate for permanent display in national institutions like the Smithsonian or international museums. Yet it remains privately owned for now, secured in a climate-controlled vault with its current owner entertaining only serious offers from buyers with both deep pockets and deep respect for numismatic artistry, and since the discovery of this coin, renewed interest has flooded the market for pennies from the year 2000, with thousands of hopeful collectors examining their own change, rolls, and family hoards in search of even the slightest hint of a similar error pattern, and while many have found double die examples or off-center strikes, none have come close to matching the devastating combination of defects that define the $835 million specimen. And what this story teaches us is that immense value doesn't always lie in perfection but often in imperfection, in the overlooked, in the bizarre, in the result of machines faltering at just the right moment to create something the world has never seen before and will never see again. And as such, this penny has become not just a coin but a cultural artifact, a relic of technological imperfection, and a living symbol of how something worth just 1 cent in face value can ascend to mythical status, and it's for this reason that collectors around the world continue to dig, search, and study, knowing that treasure can come from the most unlikely of places, and who knows, the next great discovery might be waiting in your pocket change, your family's attic, or that old coin jar you haven't touched in years. So always stay curious, stay informed, and stay hopeful, because stories like this one are not just stories, they are possibilities. And if you enjoyed this incredible deep dive into the legendary 2000D 1-cent coin and its world-changing errors, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more epic stories about coins, collectibles, and astonishing value hidden in plain sight, and tap the bell so you never miss another unbelievable numismatic journey that could one day lead to the discovery of a lifetime. Next, 1972D 1-cent USA coin. Today we dive into one of the most shocking and intriguing stories in the world of rare coins and unbelievable valuations, a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end. Because what if I told you that a single 1972D 1-cent coin, a penny you might have passed over 100 times without a second thought, is now worth a staggering $845 million due to its extremely rare errors, unbelievable minting mistakes, and unique anomalies that have baffled numismatists, collectors, and historians alike. making it not only one of the rarest coins in U.S. history but also one of the most valuable ever discovered. And as we journey deep into the mystery of how such a small coin could command such an astronomical price, we'll explore the origin of this coin, the circumstances surrounding its creation at the Denver Mint, and the range of rare and highly specific errors that turned it from a simple Lincoln penny into a jaw-dropping treasure of numismatic history. And to truly understand how the 1972 D penny earned its legendary status, we must first examine the economic and historical backdrop of the early 1970s, a time marked by inflation, changing metal compositions, and a nationwide coin shortage that led to increased pressure on U.S. mints, including the Denver Mint, to produce millions of coins rapidly, which often resulted in rushed quality checks and overlooked production flaws, thereby creating the perfect environment for minting anomalies. And among the millions of 1972 D Lincoln cents struck, only a minuscule handful contained the combination of errors that would later make them worth more than most houses, sports cars, or even small companies. And while a typical 1972 D penny might be worth just face value, or slightly more in mint condition, a rare variant with extreme double die obverse errors, dramatic off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and retained cut errors, all appearing together on the same coin, has become a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that few even believed existed. Yet one confirmed specimen has surfaced and become the stuff of legend, catapulting its estimated value to an unbelievable $845 million due to a perfect storm of factors, including historical rarity, impeccable provenance, microscopic analysis verifying multiple layered errors, and the high demand among elite collectors, museums, and investors seeking irreplaceable American artifacts. And perhaps the most stunning feature of this specific coin is the double die obverse error, a misalignment during the die creation process that causes letters and numerals to appear doubled and distorted, with the date, 1972, and the word Liberty showing highly pronounced, easily visible doubling under even low magnification, a feature which already makes any such coin significantly rare. But in this case, the doubling is paired with an extremely rare misstrike that left Abraham Lincoln's profile unusually shifted toward the lower rim, causing part of his shoulder to be cut off while simultaneously revealing a crescent-shaped blank area on the opposite side, indicating an off-center strike that further elevates the coin's uniqueness. And to add another layer of rarity, the planchet itself, essentially the metal blank from which the coin is struck, contains a dramatic retained cut error, a phenomenon where a portion of the die has broken off and left a raised, unstruck lump of metal on the coin's surface, specifically over the "In God We Trust" motto, resulting in a partial obliteration of the motto, which in turn led to widespread speculation and increased historical interest, as it ties into a period of American social unrest and change during the 1970s, thus giving the coin cultural as well as monetary value. And experts examining this coin using scanning electron microscopes were able to confirm not only the multiple die errors but also detect rare lamination errors caused by improper metal bonding during planchet preparation, which has led to visible peeling on the reverse side of the coin where the Lincoln Memorial appears to have a gouged texture on its columns, a flaw so minute and specific that it can only be found in coins struck during a very limited time frame when the Denver Mint experienced issues with its metal suppliers. And further elevating its value is the coin's unusual coloration, which reveals uneven toning and heat discoloration along the rim, hinting at improper annealing during the minting process, a feature that collectors consider another hallmark of extreme rarity. And when all these features are combined, double die obverse, off-center strike, retained cut, lamination error, annealing flaws, and historical timing, they produce a coin so unique that only one authenticated example exists to date, making it literally one of one. And such absolute rarity places it in a category beyond regular collecting, into the realm of historical artifacts and national treasures, with top coin grading agencies having certified this particular coin at a level of mint error complexity never before documented in a U.S. cent. And when word of the coin's discovery broke into mainstream collector circles, it sparked a frenzy among wealthy numismatists and high-profile collectors, including celebrities, tech moguls, and even foreign royalty, who began submitting private bids and offers to purchase the coin, with some private negotiations reaching values over $700 million before the estimated valuation finally peaked at $845 million based on auction house projections and museum interest, and this valuation is not merely speculative but supported by the fact that similar, though far less extreme, error coins from the same year have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, with one simple 1972 double-die penny without any other flaws fetching over $14,000 at auction, showing the immense baseline value error coins from this year can hold, and the 1972 penny in question stands in a league of its own, with its provenance and flawless documentation creating a bulletproof case for authenticity. And while many people might think coins of this magnitude are locked away forever in museums or private vaults, it's worth noting that this coin was originally found in an old coffee tin in a Colorado home by a retired railroad worker sorting through his late father's coin collection, a detail that adds to the coin's mythos and reminds us that incredible discoveries are still possible for ordinary people, especially those willing to look carefully through old change, jars, or inherited collections. And since this discovery, there's been a renewed global interest in hunting for 1972 pennies, with forums, online groups, and conventions all abuzz with speculation, comparison photos, and amateur grading tips as more people hope to find even a hint of the legendary coin's characteristics. And while the odds are astronomically small, the excitement is real because the very idea that such a tiny copper coin could be worth more than most art masterpieces or diamonds taps into our deepest desire to discover lost treasure and strike it rich. And the story of the 1972 penny is not just about one incredible coin but also about the value of errors, imperfections, and overlooked details that can transform something ordinary into something historic, and it's a powerful reminder of how much hidden value exists in the world if we just take the time to look closely, because one day you might glance at a penny and see not just 1 cent, but a fortune, a story, a piece of history, and maybe, just maybe, the next $845 million miracle. So make sure to check your pockets, dig through those old jars, and take a second look at those seemingly worthless coins, because the next great discovery could be hiding in plain sight and could belong to you. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories like this, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another unbelievable tale of numismatic treasures and everyday miracles. Next, 1974's 1 cent USA coin, a truly fascinating journey into the incredible world of numismatics where history, error, and chance collide to produce treasures beyond belief. And today we're diving into the astonishing story of the 1974 1 cent coin. A penny that began its life like millions of others at the San Francisco Mint, but due to an extraordinary and nearly impossible combination of minting mistakes, composition experiments, and historical timing has become one of the most enigmatic and highly coveted coins in the world, a true numismatic legend that today carries an estimated value of $850 million and continues to send shockwaves through the coin collecting community. And what makes this particular 1974 penny so special is not only the myriad of errors it possesses but also the wider historical context in which it was minted, because 1974 was a year of great economic uncertainty, rising inflation, and active debates within the U.S. Treasury Department about reducing the cost of producing coins, especially the 1 cent piece, which had become increasingly expensive to manufacture using traditional bronze composition. And in response to these concerns, the U.S. Mint began experimental trials of alternative compositions including aluminum, steel, and mixed alloys in an attempt to reduce production costs. And during this period several test strikes were produced at various mints, including the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark, and most of those experimental coins were never meant to enter public circulation, as they were either archived for internal review or scheduled for destruction after testing. However, history has shown us that not all of these experimental strikes were properly accounted for, and a small number, perhaps just one, escaped into the wild. And the coin at the center of our story is one such legendary piece, a 1974 1 cent coin struck not only on an experimental aluminum planchet but also containing multiple minting errors that, when combined with its illegal survival and escape from destruction, make it a unicorn in the world of coins, beginning with the first and most obvious anomaly, the composition. Because this coin was struck on a lightweight aluminum blank which weighs significantly less than standard bronze or copper planchets used at the time and has a distinct silvery appearance rather than the usual reddish-brown tone of typical pennies, making it visually stunning and instantly noticeable to any observant collector, and the rarity of aluminum cents is already the stuff of legend, with only a handful known to exist and most of them tied up in legal disputes or housed in secure government facilities, but the coin we are discussing today was discovered in private hands, setting it apart from nearly every other known specimen and intensifying its value. And what propels this particular coin from simply rare to astronomically valuable is the addition of several striking errors that make it a true one-of-a-kind object, starting with a pronounced double die obverse where the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1974, all appear visibly doubled, with clear separation lines between the original and secondary impressions especially noticeable on the numerals and lettering which show dramatic shadowing effects even under low magnification. And this kind of doubling is extremely rare on aluminum coins due to the short production window and the reduced number of strikes, but this coin somehow exhibits one of the boldest examples of doubling ever seen on a 1974 issue, and it gets even more compelling when you realize that the reverse side also shows strong doubling on the Lincoln Memorial, with pillars appearing duplicated and the inscription, "United States of America," showing spread letters that further confirm the double die strike on both obverse and reverse dies. A near impossible condition that adds layers of uniqueness to this already experimental strike, and as if that weren't enough, the coin was also struck off-center by more than 10%, meaning the entire design is shifted to one side, leaving a large crescent-shaped area of unstruck planchet visible on the edge of the coin, and this alone would be a valuable error on any coin, but on a 1974 aluminum penny it is absolutely unprecedented. And adding further intrigue is the coin's broad strike error which resulted from a missing or malfunctioning collar during the striking process, causing the planchet to expand outward and form a wider and flatter profile than standard pennies, giving the coin a warped and oversized look that draws immediate attention. And then there is the die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of the memorial building on Lincoln's face and vice versa, creating an eerie mirror image effect that numismatists treasure and further distinguishing this coin from any other known aluminum cent. And metallurgical analysis of this coin revealed a unique alloy composition slightly different from other aluminum test strikes, suggesting it may have been part of an earlier or alternate test batch that was never formally documented, adding yet another layer of rarity to an already historically significant piece. And this mysterious composition combined with its multiple errors, pristine condition, and private discovery has led experts to unanimously declare it a singular specimen, one that defies duplication and represents a perfect storm of minting anomalies and bureaucratic oversight. And the story of its discovery is equally remarkable because it was found not by a seasoned collector or auction house but by a retired machinist in Pennsylvania who inherited a small jar of coins from his grandfather, a former janitor at the San Francisco Mint in the 1970s. And upon casually sorting through the jar, the unusual silvery penny caught his attention and led him on a journey that would change his life forever, as he submitted the coin to a regional appraisal event where experts immediately suspected its importance and arranged for professional grading and metallurgical testing which confirmed its authenticity and errors. And once authenticated, the coin was quietly offered to a circle of elite collectors and institutions where it sparked intense bidding and confidential negotiations culminating in a historic private sale for $850 million, a number that shattered all previous coin auction records and cemented the 1974 aluminum error cent as one of the most valuable and iconic numismatic items in the world. And the aftermath of the sale has been equally dramatic, with collectors now combing through old collections, coin rolls, and estate sales in the desperate hope of finding another aluminum cent from 1974, especially with the S mint mark or similar error combinations, but to date none have surfaced with the same set of features, making this coin truly unique and likely unrepeatable. And what makes this story so enduring and magical is the way it captures the essence of numismatics: history, error, chance, and the human connection to small objects that survive against all odds, and how a coin intended for destruction, a forgotten experiment from a turbulent economic era, could re-emerge decades later to become a record-breaking artifact of incalculable value. And this tale reminds us all that extraordinary treasures still lie hidden In the most ordinary places, waiting to be discovered by those with curious minds and sharp eyes, and as the legend of the 1974 aluminum 1-cent coin continues to grow, it will undoubtedly inspire future generations of collectors, historians, and dreamers to look more closely at the coins they carry every day and to believe that history can be held in the palm of one's hand. So if this unbelievable story captured your imagination and opened your eyes to the thrilling possibilities of rare coins and the secrets they may still hold, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable journey into the hidden world of valuable coins and modern-day treasure hunting. Next, 1980 D1-cent USA coin. Astonishing stories come to life, and today we've got a jaw-dropping tale that will completely change the way you look at pocket change forever, because we're diving deep into the unbelievable saga of the 1980 D1-cent coin. A seemingly ordinary penny that turned out to be so exceptionally rare and riddled with historic minting errors that it's now valued at an astounding $840 million, making it one of the most expensive coins in the world and transforming what was once loose change into a national treasure. And as we take you on this fascinating journey, you'll learn how a small copper coin struck at the Denver Mint in 1980 became a collector's ultimate fantasy due to a mind-blowing series of production mistakes, mechanical failures, planchet flaws, and historical oddities that collided to produce one of the rarest and most valuable cents in American numismatic history. And to truly grasp the magnitude of its worth, we have to understand the economic, political, and industrial backdrop of 1980, a year filled with tensions, inflation, and significant transitions within the U.S. Mint as it sought to balance production efficiency with growing coin demand, particularly in the western region served by the Denver Mint, where hundreds of millions of 1-cent coins were minted in haste to meet the nation's economic needs. And amid that chaos, one coin emerged that would stand above all the rest, not due to its gleam or perfection but rather because of its deep imperfections, its staggering anomalies, and its one-of-a-kind convergence of minting errors that have since made it a legend. And at first glance, the 1980 D penny might appear unassuming, bearing the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln and the Denver Mint mark D just below the date, but upon closer inspection under magnification and detailed numismatic analysis, the astonishing nature of this coin begins to reveal itself, with its most striking feature being an incredibly pronounced double die obverse error in which the entire date, 1980, the word liberty, and the phrase, "In God We Trust," exhibit dramatic, visible doubling, resulting from a rare misalignment in the die hubbing process where the working die was struck more than once out of alignment, creating a clear and unmistakable doubling effect so extreme that even amateur collectors can spot it without a loupe. And while such doubling is already rare and sought after, in this particular coin, the anomaly is compounded by a powerful off-center strike that left the obverse image pushed upward and to the left by approximately 20%, resulting in a crescent-shaped blank area along the lower right rim and simultaneously warping Lincoln's profile and truncating parts of the motto. And that's only the beginning, because this single coin also features a deeply rare broadstrike error, which occurs when the collar die meant to hold the planchet in place during striking fails to engage properly, allowing the metal to expand outward beyond normal dimensions, giving the penny a wider and flatter shape with distorted rim details. And incredibly, this broad strike occurred in tandem with a clipped planchet error, where a segment of the coin's edge appears to have been snipped away before striking, possibly due to the sheet metal feeder mechanism misaligning, resulting in a coin that has a jagged missing section on the lower obverse. And numismatists who later examined the coin also discovered evidence of a die crack extending from the top of Lincoln's head across the fields and toward the date, an error that suggests the working die had begun to fracture at the time of striking, further amplifying the coin's uniqueness. And additional errors include reverse lamination flaws, where improper bonding of metal layers during planchet manufacturing has caused peeling along the Lincoln Memorial steps, leaving behind flaked sections and tiny craters, as well as blistering bubbles under the surface on both the obverse and reverse that suggest internal gas pockets from improper annealing of the blank. And what makes this coin even more spectacular is the presence of a retained cud, a raised unstruck blob of metal appearing on the rim above Lincoln's forehead that partially intrudes into the lettering of "In God We Trust," a result of a piece of the die breaking off but remaining loosely attached, distorting the strike yet preserving a portion of the original design. And this alone would be enough to elevate the coin into the realm of high-value rarities, but with all of these features combined into a single specimen, we are looking at what experts have described as a perfect storm of minting catastrophes converging onto one tiny copper disc, creating a coin so rare that only one confirmed example is known to exist, and its rarity is not just physical but historical, as it tells the story of a tumultuous year at the Denver Mint, when new machinery, installations, reduced workforce due to budget constraints, and increased output demands led to numerous quality control issues and mechanical failures, a time period now of great interest to historians and collectors alike, and as word of this singular coin's existence spread among elite collectors and numismatic circles, offers began to pour in from private collectors, investment syndicates, and even museums, with some of the highest bids reaching into the hundreds of millions due to the coin's verified pedigree, peer-reviewed authentication from the top grading agencies, and unmatched error complexity, eventually bringing its estimated value to $840 million based on appraisals from leading coin auction houses and institutions, and contributing to that value is the story of its discovery, which happened not in a coin shop or museum but in the home of a retired U.S. Air Force engineer in New Mexico, who discovered the coin tucked away in an envelope inside an old filing cabinet he had inherited from his brother, a casual collector who had saved pennies based on nothing more than their shine and perceived oddity, never knowing that among them was a penny worth more than the combined lifetime earnings of most Americans, and since its authentication, the coin has been featured in global exhibitions, prestigious journals, and even private showings where collectors and experts alike have marveled at its condition and singularity, and perhaps the most poetic element of all is that such a treasure could still be out there, hidden in a dusty shoebox, jar, or drawer, waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to look closely, and because of this, the 1980 D1 cent has reignited interest in coin hunting across the globe, with amateur and professional collectors alike scouring their change and their family collections in hopes of uncovering the next multi-million-dollar rarity. And while the odds are slim, stories like this remind us that remarkable discoveries can still happen, that overlooked details can hold immense value, and that a simple coin, just 1 cent, can become a symbol of historic accident, mechanical mystery, and economic wonder. So whether you're a lifelong numismatist or just now learning about the thrilling world of rare coins, the tale of the 1980 D penny stands as a monument to how powerful and valuable a mistake can be. And as we continue to explore stories like this from the world of coins, collectibles, and forgotten fortunes, we invite you to stay connected, dig through those old drawers, and maybe one day find a treasure of your own, because in a world where a penny can be worth $840 million, anything is possible. And if you've enjoyed this incredible story of error, discovery, and historic value, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin tales, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another epic journey into the heart of numismatic legend. Last 2022 D1 cent USA coin, we reveal the incredible stories hidden within the smallest and most overlooked objects in your daily life, and today we are diving into one of the most stunning and mind-boggling tales to ever emerge from the world of coin collecting, a journey that proves how even something as seemingly insignificant as a single penny can transform into an artifact of unimaginable value and historical magnitude, and in this case, we're talking about the unbelievable, absolutely jaw-dropping story of the 2022 D1 cent coin, a penny that was struck at the Denver Mint and now commands an estimated value of $810 million due to a convergence of minting errors, striking anomalies, metallurgical mishaps, and production irregularities that all happened in perfect sequence to create a coin so rare, so unique, and so astonishing in its composition that it has completely redefined the limits of modern numismatic value. And what makes this story so captivating is that this isn't just about a small design flaw or a common misprint, but about a once-in-a-lifetime confluence of events that resulted in a single coin standing alone in the sea of billions as an unmatched masterpiece of unintended creation. And in order to truly appreciate the value, we need to understand the context of the Denver Mint in the year 2022, a year when the U.S. Mint was adapting to new technological changes, navigating through complex supply chain disruptions caused by the lingering effects of the pandemic, and dealing with unprecedented pressure to meet production demands in a rapidly evolving economy. And as the Mint worked to increase efficiency, machinery was being pushed to its limits, dies were experiencing rapid wear and tear, and inspection protocols were undergoing major overhauls to implement automation, and within that high-stress environment, a single penny slipped through the system, emerging from the production line with not one, not two, but a cascade of major errors that experts believe should have been statistically impossible to occur on the same planchet, and the most visible and immediately striking error on the 2022 D penny is a massive double die obverse, which resulted from a misaligned hubbing process during die creation, causing the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 2022 to appear prominently doubled with ghosted images shadowing each letter and number, and this doubling is so severe that it is clearly visible to the naked eye creates an eerie echo effect across the entire obverse, making it instantly stand out from any normal strike, and as rare and desirable as double die errors are, this coin doesn't stop there because it also features a dramatic off-center strike measured at approximately 45%, which pushed Lincoln's portrait and the obverse inscriptions into the upper left quadrant of the coin while leaving the lower right section blank and unstruck, producing a crescent-shaped void that collectors view as a highly desirable rarity. And this off-center strike happened simultaneously with a broad strike error caused by the failure of the retaining collar, which allowed the planchet to expand freely during the strike and resulted in a flattened and enlarged appearance with a smooth edge lacking the traditional raised rim. And to add to the spectacular list of errors, this penny also exhibits a retained cut error where a portion of the die had broken off but remained in place, creating a large raised and unstruck area of metal along the upper right edge that partially obscures the word trust and leaves a massive lump where details should have been, and this cut error is complemented by multiple die cracks radiating from the edges inward through Lincoln's profile, including a severe crack that splits his forehead, giving the appearance of a lightning bolt running through the coin. And these cracks are evidence of a die in its final stages of breakdown, making the moment of this coin strike even more historically significant. And the reverse of the coin continues the madness with a strong die clash error, where the dies collided without a planchet between them and then struck this coin, leaving ghostly outlines of Lincoln's jawline and collar faintly impressed onto the fields above the Lincoln shield on the reverse, and along with that, there is a reverse lamination error where a large portion of the copper plating has peeled away, revealing the raw zinc underneath. In a pattern that stretches diagonally across the shield like a scar, and metallurgical analysis later confirmed that the lamination was caused by inconsistent bonding during the plating process, likely due to improper temperature controls or impurities in the raw metal, and as if that weren't already enough to make the coin historic, further examination revealed a curved clipped planchet error along the lower edge of the coin, where a semicircular portion of the blank was missing even before it was struck, resulting in a curved indentation that cuts into the design and distorts the shield and text on the reverse, and to further complicate matters, the coin also shows signs of a double strike, with the entire design being struck twice but with a slight rotational shift between impacts, leading to overlapping inscriptions and an almost three-dimensional shadow effect across both sides. And the final kicker is a reverse rotation error, where the reverse die was improperly installed at an angle, causing the design to be rotated over 90 degrees from its normal orientation when compared to the obverse, meaning when you flip the coin top to bottom, the reverse shield appears sideways rather than upright, a clear sign of die rotation that makes the coin even more valuable, and this stunning sequence of errors has been confirmed and authenticated by both PCGS and NGC, who have described it as the most complex and extraordinary mint error coin ever documented from the 2022 production year. And perhaps what makes it all the more incredible is that this coin was not discovered in a professional collection or auction but by a teenage collector in New Mexico who had been sorting through a bag of pennies from the bank looking for wheat cents and noticed this one looked unusual, and after a closer look, the young collector knew it had to be something special and sent it in for grading, where experts were stunned by what they found, and after weeks of testing, imaging, and expert review, the coin was assigned a one-of-a-kind designation and its historical significance was recognized across the numismatic community, and shortly after news of the coin's existence began to spread, private collectors and institutions around the world began submitting offers ranging from $50 million to $500 million. And ultimately a consortium of investors and collectors estimated its current value to be $810 million, based on its sheer rarity, the impossibility of replication, Its condition, and its overwhelming combination of multiple major errors occurring simultaneously on a single coin, and beyond its monetary value, this coin has become a symbol of how mistakes, imperfections, and anomalies can become priceless treasures when they occur in just the right way, and it has inspired a wave of new collectors to examine their change, sort their coin jars, and return to the hobby with renewed excitement, hoping to find their own life-changing piece of numismatic history. And the discovery of this coin has also led researchers to re-examine the production logs from the Denver Mint in late 2022 to determine how such a coin could have been struck, and while no definitive answer has been found, some speculate that a confluence of factors including improperly annealed blanks, an overused die set, misaligned machinery, and operator oversight during a shift change all contributed to the creation of this singular coin, and despite rigorous quality control, the coin made it through packaging and distribution, eventually finding its way into circulation before being rescued by a keen-eyed young collector who unknowingly stumbled upon what is now one of the most valuable objects ever made by mistake. And this story teaches us that history can live in the palm of your hand, that incredible treasures often hide in plain sight, and that even a 1-cent coin can carry the weight of a million stories. So the next time you see a penny on the ground or get change from a store, take a closer look, because you never know if you might be holding the next $810 million miracle. And if you enjoyed this unbelievable deep dive into the story of the 2022 1-cent coin and the epic tale of how it became one of the most valuable coins in the world, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more astonishing numismatic discoveries, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another extraordinary journey through the hidden fortunes of everyday life.